Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
And we say good morning to our Kapiti Mayor, Guru. Kia ora, Guru.
Good morning to you and the listeners.
Thank you very much. Just before I start, I had a ring from a gentleman you took home. He's blind, and you were obliged by dropping him off because I think he got left behind at the meeting, didn't he, or something like that?
That's how the meeting. Hey, did he tell you whether I dropped him off the right place or not?
Well, I'm not sure. He wouldn't know.
No, good on him.
Yeah, fair enough. So thank you very much for that. Well, he wanted me to thank you publicly, so I'm doing that, okay? Now, you had a meeting with Air Chathams on Thursday, and it looks like we're just about ready to go, are we?
Well, we are, sort of, still, negotiations are negotiations, right?
Okay.
Like I've always said, I'm quite confident we can get this across the line.
I see they've got their timetable up on their website now, so that's a fairly positive thing too.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Now, do we have to put traffic lights on the end of Kapiti Road for them or not?
No.
No? That problem solved, so we've got the right plane doing the job by the sounds of it.
That's right.
Yeah, okay. They haven't put the prices up yet, and I suppose that's another thing to be considered, is it?
Yeah, I suppose you want to balance that in terms of how much you want to pay for parking and the distance and the inconvenience of going all the way to Wellington.
Yeah, that's dead right. So, any more meetings to be had or between the council and Air Chathams?
I think we are almost set in our positions. There are, of course, the other parties involved in this.
Yeah, and they're sort of coming on board too, aren't they?
Yeah. So, the jigsaw has got to sort of fit perfectly before an announcement can be made. So
okay.
We're almost there.
Almost there. Okay, good. We'll have a service in the next couple of months, no doubt.
You might be surprised.
Oh, right. I won't say any more, but you'll let us know when things do happen.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, the Kapiti Community Centre, it's going to be run by the council, is it? Or what's the story there? We got a message last week to say it was going to be run by the council and the tenants were going to be kicked out, but that's not quite right, is it?
The current trust will hand over and transition at the end of this month. So July 2nd, I think the council will take over to introduce another transition process whereby it will be open for people for expressions of interest to see other parties wanting to run it, and the new agreement will be put into place. The place has worked really well. I mean, it's been thriving, but I think the current trust has overextended itself. It's just a reboot button that we're pressing.
Okay. Doesn't really affect anybody who's there at the moment.
No. All the users, and I think there would be about 250 or more users of the place. All that will be sorted, and so we shouldn't have any problems.
Okay. And the blood people, they come along there every 3 months, and I see they're back there again this coming time, in a couple of weeks' time, so they won't be affected.
Do you donate?
Yes, I do. Yep. So,
I haven't done it for years.
Haven't you? They've got to find the blood first, Guru.
That's right.
Okay. Right. Now, listen, you got a meeting this week, and the Otaki residents are a little bit concerned about Marine Parade, Otaki Beach Road stopping, and the hearing of submissions. So quite a few submissions come in on that one.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because we talk about coastal erosion, and the climate change and stuff like that. That part of that neck of the woods, the land has been accreting. So for many years, that's been managed as a reserve. In actual fact, when it comes to accretion, the rule is that any land that is formed through accretion belongs to the title next to it.
Right.
So in that case, it effectively should not be a reserve, it should be a road reserve. It shouldn't be a sort of open reserve. It should be a road, which is sort of an oxymoron type of situation, but that's what it is. So it is one of those technical type of issues which is we need to regularize it. And so we went to Land Information New Zealand, and we also had legal opinions on this. It's been going on for a couple of years now.
Yes.
So finally it's been sorted, and so we need now to change that from a reserve, to regularize it into what should be a reserve from being a road, which will then allow us to plan and have the management plan for that. And I think the residents, I don't want to go because there's a hearing coming up on Thursday, and so I don't breach what the views are on that side.
Okay, so that'll be...
I suppose the residents are concerned that some want it to be open space and keep that. Others worried that the boating club there would be wanting to build more buildings and stuff. So that's where it's at. And I think the EV also are quite interested in looking at how cultural use of that area can be put to.
So
they're interested in enhancing their waka activities.
Okay.
Activities, yeah.
So it might be quite a long submission process for this. Are people coming along to talk to it, are they?
It'll, let me see. The whole thing is about 7.5 hectares. And therefore, once we made the decision, then we can go into consultation as to what sort of plan
I get you.
for the place.
Yep, sure. Okay, so until that's discussed at the meeting, we'll leave that one on the table, we might say.
Yeah.
Well, what about the lease of the Waikanae Boating Club? They want a 30-year lease on that land so they can develop. Is that getting some...
They did have a 20-year lease, and it sort of runs out in March next year.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, everything needs to be regularized. There have been some problems around there in terms of signage. What the signage they use on that land, and they, in Kapiti, you can throw a stone and you'll hit a lawyer. So the Waikanae Boating Club, while they've been having the activities, I think there have been some complaints from the neighboring areas as to the use that they put the signboards. And did you, Nigel, tell me, with the closure of the restaurant along the State Highway 1, the cafe and restaurant, was it the Waikanae Hotel? It was called Waikanae Hotel?
That's right, yes.
I think a lot of the activities have shifted to the Waikanae Beach Club in terms of increasing their clientele. So it's become busier.
It has, but then they play an important part, don't they?
Absolutely. I mean, you got your health and safety side, in terms of the Coast Guard.
Yes.
That alone is critical. So, when a place becomes busier, then people who live around there maybe have concerns. So anyway, this lease arrangement now will allow staff to work with the boating club and sort some things out so that everybody can be happy.
Yes. They came along to the Waikanae Community Board, put a fairly strong argument for it being extended, which the Community Board obviously have placed to the Council. But the Community Board were in favour of the extension of time to not the 30 years. And that was to do with the fact that they're going to be spending a fair bit of money on this project and they don't want to sort of just have a short 10-year lease or something like that.
True. I mean, I can't see. Personally, I'll support what the boating club would be wanting to do in the area. I mean, if they can tidy up the place, make it much more open, more people using the place, it's a good thing. But it's got to be done in a way that sort of accepts that you are still in a residential area.
Yeah, that's right.
Also. Okay,
so that'll be well set. Now, the big one, of course, at the meeting on Thursday will be setting of the rates, won't it? You're finally getting around to that.
Yeah, but we've thrashed most of these things out. We've had untold workshops and briefings and stuff like that, so we are almost... I doubt there'll be any ructions over any of the issues. But the other one that you need to pick up is the speed limits.
Yes, I was about to mention that. District-wide speed limit review. So what's involved in that one, Gary?
I mean, that's another contentious thing, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, people want to... the higher speed limits is what generally people are quite happy with, but we know the faster you go, any accidents, the worse the impact it is. But I think the Valley Road one... most of the places was 100 kilometers an hour, and then the recommendation was to drop it to 60 during the consultation period. There are sort of a couple of 70 kilometers per sections down there. So I think after the consultation process, I think they're quite... the recommendation is to drop it to 80, but those sections that have been currently 70 will go down to 60, which is, I think, acceptable. Popular F is another one where there were two options given, but I think most people didn't accept either. I think there's a need to drop that place because I think the community board has been quite keen on getting that speed limit dropped. After the consultation process, I think staff have landed that to, rather than from 50 to 30, they're looking at 50 to 40.
Where was this one at, Guru?
Poplar Ave.
Oh, Poplar Avenue, yes, yep,
Yeah.
fair enough too. Yep.
And then, of course, you got the other one is the Rekirangi. The recommendation was from, I think, 100 to 60. The recommendation we've landed on that we'll be considering is about 180. Some people are, I've had some residents who are absolutely upset that we are going to drop the speed limit there. It's a rural road, but it's quite. You've been up there several times, haven't you?
I've ridden a bike up that hill many times, Guru.
Yeah,
I'd
so
like
you would know people.
Yeah, I'd like to see the speed limit reduced, to be quite honest, but I've got nothing to do with it. But I would say it needs to be reduced. But people living there would know more about it than what I would.
Yeah, true. I mean, people don't get to it. I remember Richard Wood when he was the editor of the Observer. He used to live up there, and he took me once up there in the night time. I mean, the guy is like he drove like a maniac, but he's driven it so many times. He said he can drive it blindfolded.
Right.
But I said, that's fine for you, but what about other people who are using it?
Yes, that's right. And it does get used by visitors and that, who take the shortcut to Upper Hutt. So that's one. What about the Waikanai one? They've just had a survey. Is that in your discussions on Thursday? Because through the township, they wanted the speed limit reduced there, but the survey suggested no.
Well, I mean, this is the State Highway one.
Yes. Is that in your discussions?
No. I mean, that's a separate process.
Oh, right, okay.
That's a separate process. I mean, I haven't had a good look. I knew there was a survey to be done. But, the process is still open for discussion. I mean, the revocation of the State Highway 1 is, we are many months away from that.
Yes. All right then, Guru, we'll let you fly and get back into work. Have a busy week,
mate.
And we'll catch you next Monday.
Righto, cheers, bye.
There's Guru, our Kapiti Mayor here on Beach FM.
106.3 Beach FM.